Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. At Calzy Lane here posting this Get Your Money Out Now, and I've been doing the same every few weeks. I'm taking out cash from the bank machine. It's always great to have cash on hand, and I don't know if you got just a side note before I get into this video too. I heard this concept from Catherine Austin Fitts, this idea that every Friday is Cash Friday. So if you can, we should be using cash as much as possible to be able to thwart the powers that be from being able to control our finances. Now guys, this is what's being posted at a British bank looking to withdraw cash. Our primary aim is to keep customers safe and secure, and our branches follow our processes carefully to achieve this. This will include asking you questions about the purpose of your cash withdrawal. We may also ask for supporting documentation such as an invoice. This helps us validate the withdrawal as genuine and protect you against fraud and scams. So please note that it is advisable to give 24 hours notice on large cash withdrawals amounts over £2,000, or if you would like specific denominations, you can pre-advise us of your transaction via our customer contact team or in the branch. Banks are doing this all around the world. This is not just in the UK. I've heard about this in the United States and Canada as well. And I mean, it is a little disconcerting considering it is our money. Also just wanted to give credit to Dawdler XRP for sending me this. I did see it on Twitter, but he also sent me this, so wanted to just make a note to give him some credit as well. Things are looking more and more dicey, and although we hold the most, arguably, the most valuable digital asset on planet Earth today, even if the price isn't reflecting it right now, there still is going to be this internal battle, I think, with the people and the powers that be to, as this new financial system shifts. And so cash payments are playing a big part of this, and this is why I just wanted to mention at the top of the video, if you can pay with cash on Friday, it's called Cash Fridays, decide to pay with cash instead of your credit card or debit card. And let me know down in the comments if you're already doing this. I know I started doing this past year. I always keep cash on hand. Anyway, wanted to thank Dawdler for XRP and Elaine here on Twitter just for posting that. And this guy's from Library. So this is some breaking news, well, at least breaking from this morning. The United States government wants every single cryptocurrency transaction tracked, monitored, and tied to a person. This is the unifying theme between today's actions against Tornado Cash. Now, I don't know if you guys heard about what is going on with Tornado Cash. This was initially tweeted out by Library. Here is the U.S. Department of the Treasury statement on it. Today, the U.S. Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control sanctioned virtual currency mixer Tornado Cash, which has been used to launder more than $7 billion worth of virtual currencies since its creation back in 2019. This includes over $455 million stolen by the Lazarus Group, a Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or North Korean state-sponsored hacking group that was sanctioned by the U.S. in 2019 in the largest known virtual currency heist to date. Tornado Cash was subsequently used to launder more than $96 million of malicious cyber actors' funds derived from the June 24, 2022 Harmony Bridge heist, and at least $7.8 million from the August 2nd, 2022 Nomad heist. Today's actions are being taken pursuant to an executive order, blah, blah, blah. And so they are now cracking down on this particular company, Tornado Cash, which basically launders your cryptocurrency, obfuscating their origin, destination, and counterparties with no attempt to determine their origin. So mixes up your crypto so that you can send payments basically anonymously to others who want to receive that crypto payment. And this is coming straight from the U.S. Department of the Treasury. Now, there are some problems with this. Of course, people in the crypto space on Twitter being critical. Ryan Sean Adams posted this. It was Tornado today. Do you think they'll stop there? Tomorrow it'll be Uniswap, then Ethereum. If software isn't safe, then speech isn't. Where will you run? Forget the money. This was always a revolution. The money is just how we fund it. And Bowtied Iguana actually gives a great synopsis, a great tweet thread kind of describing what is happening here with regards to this particular case. I mean, Tornado Cash is just one example of this, but it is also how the U.S. is looking to crack down, okay? Tornado Cash added to U.S. sanctions list, 437 million of assets blocked. What is OFAC? What are sanctions, and what does this mean for DeFi? OFAC is the Office of Foreign Assets Control. They administer and enforce sanctions against high-profile individuals, including major international terrorists, drug traffickers, kingpins, and the financial political elite of certain countries deemed hostile to American interests. OFAC ensures that Americans cannot legally do business with Cuba, Iran, Iraq, North Korea, etc. without special government approval. OFAC maintains a list of specifically designated nationals and blocked persons, and then you can read that list there. On August the 8th, Tornado Cash and all the Ethereum wallet addresses associated with Tornado Cash and its smart contracts were added to this list. All of Tornado Cash is blocked, can't be used by U.S. persons. So the U.S. actually just went in and blocked all these Ethereum addresses that were connected in some way, shape, or form to Tornado Cash, including their Gitcoin grants wallets. We scraped the wallet info from Etherscan. It is all of their addresses totaling $437 million of stablecoins, Ethereum, and wrapped Bitcoin. It is illegal for any U.S. persons to engage in trade, economic transactions, or other dealings with any person, company, or country on the SDN list. This now includes using Tornado Cash. A U.S. person is any citizen, resident, or company in the United States. Fines, civil, and criminal penalties can exceed several $million. The maximum civil penalty for a non-egregious case is $330,947 specifically. Jail time for violators is a maximum of 30 years. The term other dealings is quite broad. Government guidance states it could include technical transactions such as downloading a software patch from a sanctioned entity. At this point, it is probably illegal for U.S. persons to even visit the website. Blocking immediately imposes an across-the-board prohibition against transfers or dealings of any kind with regards to the Tornado Cash property. For wrapped Bitcoin, USDC, and USDT, we expect the issuers to take all technical steps to prevent anyone from moving or redeeming these assets. Circle's USDC can be frozen at the smart contract level. So you guys can see here there's a lot of control being put into place so that the U.S. can basically determine where these transactions originate from, who is sending them, and where they are going, who is receiving them. You can see the banned addresses on the Dune list, okay. Tether's USDT, you can also be blacklisted on the Ethereum smart contract level there. WBTC is issued by BitGo. Its entities are in South Dakota and New York. They must obey OFAC sanctions or face million-dollar fines and jail time for their executives. We therefore expect them to suspend redemptions of the tainted WBTC, rendering those tokens worthless. Liquidity providers will likely end up as bag holders for blocked WBTC and stablecoin assets if they do not pull liquidity from the decentralized exchange immediately. So this is going to trickle down and affect so many other people who may not have actually been involved in this specific transaction. What does this mean for Ethereum miners and stakers who are U.S. persons? There's no legal precedent we're aware of, and we're not lawyers, but it does not look good. It seems possible that breach of OFAC sanctions would occur if a miner or validator produces or validates an Ethereum block, which contains a transaction including one of the Ethereum addresses on the SDN list. So then they go on to just talk about Ethereum and how that could be affected if you're a miner. Guys, this is not good. I mean, this thread goes on for a while here. I'm going to leave it there in terms of the thread, but I think you get the gist of it. Now, Michael Branch also posted this. The U.S.'s top diplomat appeared to claim, briefly anyway, that cryptocurrency mixing service Tornado Cash was a North Korean hacking group. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. He did end up deleting the tweet shortly thereafter. This has to do with Anthony Blinken. And here's what he said. He said that the cryptocurrency mixing service Tornado Cash was a North Korean hacking group. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken raised eyebrows on Monday when he tweeted that the U.S. Treasury Department had sanctioned virtual currency mixer Tornado Cash, which is a U.S.-sanctioned North Korean state-sponsored hacking group used by the DPRK to launder money. And here is the tweet to that effect. 1 hour and 3 minutes later, though, the tweet had been deleted and replaced with what the Treasury Department actually alleged earlier that day. Tornado Cash was used by North Korean hacking group to launder funds. So that is the official statement now. We have it up here. We'll continue to aggressively pursue actions against currency mixers laundering virtual currencies for criminals. Today, the U.S. Treasury sanctioned virtual currency mixer Tornado Cash, which has been used to launder money for a U.S.-sanctioned DPRK state-sponsored cyber hacking group. So a little mixed in translation there, but it sounds as though he did delete that tweet. I guess the bigger point, though, is if the BlackRocks of the world are going to get into cryptocurrency, there needs to be the proper processes in place for them to do so securely, safely. And I mean, this is how the US government is justifying their actions, of course. It is a financial system that they control. They do not want us to have any control in this financial system whatsoever. Now, that's not to say that somewhere down the road, sometime down the road, that somebody else is going to come up with another crypto mixing software solution that could do the same thing. It kind of reminds me of pirates and torrent websites, right? Some get brought down. As soon as they get taken down, another 10 pop up somewhere else. And so how do you stop the piracy in the case of music and movies and whatnot? It's very difficult and has been for years now, decades actually. It all started with Napster. You can still download illegal music, but they've adapted, and now, the music industry has adopted their own affordable streaming services to help thwart against piracy. I don't know if it's working or not. And I feel like it's the same here. Although, the disciplinary measures, if you are going to participate in something like this, are far, far worse. 30 years in jail, I think, is what they said here. 30 years in jail. I think that's what Bow-Tied Iguana said. Read this thread or go to jail for 30 years. But anyway, just to my point here, guys, the U.S. Cracking down, and it's getting serious. This another one from Michael Branch with regards to the SEC's response, okay? So pivoting a little bit to the Ripple SEC lawsuit, the SEC's response is simple. The SEC's response was apparently a simple one-liner when they were asked to validate those 7 videos. Remember we were talking about that? They needed to authenticate videos of 7 SEC officials, videos of 7 SEC officials for the public remarks regarding their request for admissions. However, the SEC refused to consent to the request. Consequently, Ripple called the SEC's demands wholly improper, since the securities regulator didn't have any authentic RFAs during discovery. In the latest development, the SEC filed a one-liner response to the Ripple defendants' efforts to enforce Judge Netburn's ruling on the authentication of the videos. The filing, as highlighted by James K. Filan, read, "Plaintiff respectfully takes no position on defendant's motion to reopen fact discovery to serve non-party subpoenas for the purpose of obtaining video recordings for authentication." And you guys can read James K. Filan's tweet down here. As Ripple stated in the original request, the subpoenas Ripple seeks permission to serve are not a reopening of discovery, but relate back to RFAs Ripple served before the end of fact discovery and which are needed to effectuate Judge Netburn's order. The SEC's response is simply an abuse of judicial process and a waste of the court's time, as evidenced by the fact that the SEC waited 5 days to file a one-sentence response in which the SEC then misconstrued Ripple's original request, the original request below. And here was the one-liner. Plaintiff Security and Exchange Commission respectfully takes no position on defendant's motion to reopen fact discovery in order to serve non-party subpoenas for the purpose of obtaining video recordings for authentication, in quotes. Wow. What a-holes. I gotta say, it can't be going well for them, and I feel like settlement talks would be in their best interest if they want to maintain some sort of agency over cryptocurrency, anything. I feel like at this point, the SEC's in some deep water, and, the Ripple case not going their way? Yeah, that's an understatement. Well, I also wanted to mention this, guys. This posted originally by Valhill Capital, retweeted out here by Digital Perspectives on Twitter. And Digital Perspectives brings up this concept of imminent domain. Now, we're going to get to that in a second. This was posted by Valhill Capital, some potential settlement terms that could give everybody their cake and eat it too, maybe to some degree. But how likely is this? Okay, I mean, realistically, is this a possibility? So Valhill Capital, as you guys know, its CEO Jimmy Valley famously predicted a $50,000 XRP if all things fall into place. And again, this is a price that would require that a lot of things fall into place for this to happen. Nevertheless, here is what he said with regards to a potential settlement. Okay, so securities regulation going forward from the date the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit was filed by the SEC. That event, okay, so December 22nd, 2020, that event constitutes constructive notice. And if an issuer uses an offer or sale of any digital asset for the purpose of raising proceeds to be used in the issuer's own enterprise, including research and development activities relating to the evaluation, development, implementation, and adoption of such issuer's own new fintech project, such instrument will be deemed a security. So if there is XRP essentially purchased after that date, it would be deemed a security, and if it's used for those purposes, and such instrument will be subject to a U.S. federal securities law, provided that this determination may become subject to the Pierce token safe harbor if adopted by Congress. Number 2, all offers and or sales of any digital asset prior, so before the 22nd of December 2020, is hereby grandfathered in and not constituting security. So if you did not know before this date, your XRP that you held would not be considered a security if the utility and adoption of such digital asset becomes substantially pervasive throughout the US and or a material number of countries outside the US, for example, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. Irrespective of whether a digital asset is grandfathered in or not, pursuant to item 2 above, all digital asset transactions are subject to SEC rule, and then it gives the rule codified by this as application with respect to any fraudulent misrepresentations or omissions or market manipulation activities. Number 4, though, the escrow. Okay, and here's where it gets interesting. Escrow options and governance of monetary policy. 4A, distribute escrow holdings to 1, a mutual agreed international governing body to oversee the monetary policy of distributing XRP. 2, all current holders of XRP pro rata, and pro rata means proportionately basically, thereby addressing the damages caused to retail XRP holders as a result of the lawsuit. Or 3, a mutually agreed allocation between 1 and 2. Or B down here, Ripple or a designated affiliate would retain the escrow subject to regulatory oversight by an international governing body. So is this, guys, a possibility for a potential settlement? Now, the definition of eminent domain, which Digital Perspectives brings up here, the right of a government or its agent to expropriate private property for public use with payment of compensation. This means the government takes your property. I mean, they pay you, they compensate you, but they would be able to take your property. And, by no way is he saying this will happen for sure, but it is something that theoretically could happen, I suppose. Bill here at Bilisarius 2020 being somewhat critical of this perspective, though there are some conceptual difficulties with this. How would something issued after that date, so December 22nd, 2020, in another country be held to a security in the USA, but not other countries? And why, if not issued in the USA, would all digital assets be subject to the SEC rule? Very good question. This only covers the US and would not cover international XRP holders, for example. Why would any coin issued overseas need to be grandfathered in under any US law or regulations? This thinking does not seem to even start to face issues of jurisdictional limits. In respect to XRP, the eminent domain, how would XRP held by non-US citizens overseas be expropriated, and by whom? And if expropriation was partial and restricted to the US or US citizens, what would be the point or purpose? Agent Smith down here saying, the US is going to be sanctioned if the SEC keeps it up, either officially or by boycotts/attrition. Keith Hall down here saying, it won't be sanctioned, but get left behind. So many countries moving fast on digital assets, and the USA has so much internal issues. And then he gives an example, the CFTC versus the SEC, politics and midterms do. It's gonna get messy. Interesting points here by Bill. Royalty also commented on this when Valhill Capital originally posted this yesterday. Nah, this ain't it, he says, because purchases after the lawsuit should be grandfathered in as well. So he's saying that the purchases, even if you did buy XRP after December the 22nd, 2020, that should also be grandfathered in. Any purchases before resolution of the case. So that's the thing. We do not actually have a resolution for the case, therefore we do not have the clear rules yet, as we never had clear laws to begin with. XRP pre- and post-lawsuit is not a security in any way, shape, or form. I tend to agree with this. We really do need a verdict on this. And if we do finally have a verdict, if people decide to purchase XRP after that, then maybe that does give some legitimacy to deeming certain XRP a security versus other XRP. I mean, I'm still kind of scratching my head as to how they would classify the two. An interesting perspective here, maybe this would only deal with US citizens, but then what would happen to international holders holding XRP? All great points to theorize. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.